And now, to the highlight of our evening, the reason that you're here tonight. We are honoring the careers and contributions of 6 people who represent our industry at its best. 2 home builders, a developer, an architect, a leader in market research, and the director of a nonprofit, all united in their efforts to make a difference in their organizations, in our industry, and in the communities they serve. Each inductee represents a lifetime of achievement, and I've warned them to manage to put that whole lifetime together in a 3-minute speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to present our tribute to the 2016 Hall of Fame honorees.
I want to congratulate Tim, Kevin, Cheryl, Ian, and Carl. Congratulations. You guys are great. And I also want to thank Terry Brunson. She's a tireless worker, and Joan for putting me up to this. Where's Joan? There she is. And all the sponsors here tonight, both consultants, lawyers, everybody that supported this event, and obviously the Homebuilding Foundation for putting this together. It's just a great venue and a really special night. You know, as I look back, and really the most important thing, one of the most important things I want to recognize is really thank my supporting team. My wife, Kathleen, who you saw in the video, the CEO of the household, and our 3 kids, Chris, Nick, and Maddie. It's great for them to be here, put up with me for the last 28 years and all the craziness that we go through. I also want to thank our extended family for being here tonight, and my daughter's boyfriend, Ryan. It's very special for all of you to be here, so I really appreciate that. I'm almost done. You know, I've heard a lot about long speeches. Bert Silva giving the hook, I heard. But the most important thing I've learned is Tim Sullivan is buying drinks at Lefty O'Doul's. Wait a minute, Tim. If I'm under 5 minutes, now trust me, Tim, this is going to be under 5 minutes, and with the entourage of thirsty college students, you better have a big credit limit, because they drink all night long. But listen, I'm really standing here tonight to accept this honor on behalf of the 1,000+ team members that make up the Tri-Point Group and the 6 home building brands. But most importantly, and they're not going to get away with this, but it's really to honor my 2 partners and my 2 brothers, Mr. Tom Mitchell, Mike Grubbs, and their wives, Kelly and Peggy. Would you stand up for a moment? Take a bow. You know, as we mentioned, the 3 of us have always said we rarely take a moment to reflect on what we've accomplished over the last 7 years. You know, I think it's important being here in the land of startups to take a moment and celebrate what the 3 of us started in 2009. And that's really a passion for home building and a belief that we could start that next generation home builder. To kind of personalize it, the early years were interesting. Our wives thought we were certifiably crazy. We started by handling calls in Tom's car, and thank God that worked. We met at a lot of coffee shops. We got our first office space because of Carl. Where's Carl? Thank you. Carl Lagoni was nice enough because we didn't have any credit to the 3 of us. We started fee building on the Irvine Ranch. We secured $150 million from Starwood Capital. Some of my partners and former partners, Mark Perrin and Dan Schwegler, are here tonight. We celebrated with an IPO in January 2013. I guess we were one of the first new ones in about 10 or 12 years. And it kind of culminated into taking, which is really the American dream, of taking $10 million in capital, and now it's this $2 billion company in capitalization doing over $2 billion in revenues to where we are today. And I guess what we're really proud of is the difference between our startup and some of the startups in the Silicon Valley is we've been profitable every year for the investors. That's good. But it's a great story, and what's great about America is you can really chase a dream like the three of us had, and I'm up here to celebrate this for everybody. None of this could be possible without Mike and Tom and the entire team of the Tri-Point Group sitting over here and the 1,000 others out in the field. I mean, the passion that our teams have in home building inspires me every day to make a difference to our customers, our trade partners, our stakeholders and shareholders. So we're really truly blessed, and we've got some young talent coming up in the industry, and we look forward really to continue growing the company for years to come. So with that, I just want to thank everybody and really appreciate this evening's honor. It's a real humbling experience. Thank you.
This is an incredible honor and just incredibly humbling for me. For lots of reasons. It just doesn't seem right to get to do what I love with the people that I love and to be honored in this way. It is an absolute honor. I've been doing it a long time. And I'm incredibly honored to be included with tonight's honorees, Cheryl, Doug, Tim, Carl, and Ian, as well as to follow the path of many that I've respected and admired for so many years. And what the foundation does and the work and effort that goes into what we saw tonight is just very rewarding. Larry gave me some advice. Larry Webb gave me some advice before tonight. He said, don't mope up there. And the reason, that's good advice, Larry. And the reason why is I don't like talking about myself. I've spent 56 years mastering the art of not talking about myself. I know more about you than I think you know about me. So watching that video was extremely difficult. For one, a man's ear is probably in my future in the next week or two. And second, Peter I follow Doug, the triathlete, and then Peter and Cheryl and Beth, I know Homemade takes big checks. It just didn't come out that way. And although I don't like talking about myself, I do like talking about the people that have made a difference in my life. And there's so many here tonight. So what I'm hoping to do is take a couple minutes and talk about them so you learn about them, and in the process, you learn a little bit more about me. And I get to start with my parents. And what an opportunity to have them here. It's a privilege to have my parents, John and Louise Carson, here this evening. Our family doesn't have the long home building lineage that many inductees come in with. In fact, our only claim to fame this Carson family has is a 450 square foot cabin we built on a picturesque lake in Alaska's Matanuska Valley. My mom and dad would invite their friends up on the weekends, and together we built a cabin. Of course, my brother and my mom and dad and friends did all the heavy lifting, and I was busy laying rocks to make a path to the lake or to the frog pond or to the outhouse. But always a planner, right? But it was my contribution. But I thank you, Mom and Dad, for a childhood filled with so many memories and so much love, and it was absolutely the best foundation to build my life upon. So thank you for being here. I'm thankful my brother Bob and his wife Kim are here from Park City, Utah, and made the trip to be here tonight because it's important. Two of my three children are here, Parker and Katie. My oldest son, Sean, couldn't be here. I'm very proud of all three of my kids, and I'm lucky to be their dad. Rachel, Parker's girlfriend's here, and thank you, Rachel, for being here. 34 years ago last month, about 2 miles west of here, Lori and I got married at the Presidio. And it's been an amazing journey. You never really know what's going to happen when you fall in love as teenagers and you build a life together. But absolutely, you've given me everything in my life, Lori, that I never thought possible. So I love you. Okay, now, no more moping now. Just had to get through Lori. I've had the great fortune to have worked with and learned from some of the great talents in our industry. True leaders that took the time to make a difference in my life, people who believed in me and helped me along the way. And I really believe in this next chapter of my career. That's what I hope to do, because I had so much help getting into it. Above all, I've been able to work with extraordinary teams and outstanding trade partners who really understood the responsibility of building a home and creating a neighborhood and giving back to the communities in which we build, all with our homeowners at the forefront. all with our customers at the forefront. It's been an amazing group of people over the last 30-some years. I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to work with the New Home Company. When Larry Webb, Wayne Stelmar, and Tom Redwitz called me 7 years ago to take their Southern California coastal home building company to the middle of Sacramento, I knew my life was going to change, and it certainly has. Now in Northern California, we're building in 10 counties, and I'm very proud of the Bay Area and Sacramento teams and all that we've accomplished. It's impossible for a quick soundbite on Larry Webb, and I'm going to try to. What started as a missed interview and a failure to hire has turned into an 18-year partnership that has absolutely been it allowed me to do things that I never thought possible. And he actually has the ability to inspire right where you're at. He'd rather have me be reading John Wooden Pyramid of Success instead of knowing that Pearl Jam had 5 drummers. But he takes you where you're at, and he builds your career. And I've been able to do amazing things. And they did have 5. Larry will have many legacies in our industry. But I'm very confident that one of those legacies will be a number of inductees that be inducted into the Hall of Fame will have been grown from his leadership and his development. So thank you, Larry, for all you've done for me. And the little secret with Larry is his passion and enthusiasm attracts the best of the best. And it's an extraordinary team at the New Home Company, and we've got a number of people here, and there's an extraordinary team at John Lang Homes, and I'm thankful that some made the trip that we used to be at John Lang Homes. And Tom and Wayne and John and Joan and Larry, you've been a phenomenal beacon for us and grow. And I could talk and give a story about all of you, but I'm just going to single it out to Wayne Stelmar, who taught me things in this business that I didn't know. And there was one afternoon in an Ohio resort many years ago where he absolutely changed my life. So Wayne, wherever you are, thank you. I'd like to conclude tonight by paraphrasing a great American poet, storyteller that hails from New Jersey by the name of Bruce Springsteen. And it goes something like this. The subtext that runs through all our lives is time. Time entering into our lives and time slipping away. And once you enter adulthood, that is when the clock really starts ticking, and you realize how precious time is. You realize just how limited time you really have to do your work, raise your family, and to try to do something good with the time you have. And for me personally, I've always heard the clock louder than most. I was always in a hurry to get to the next place, wherever that may be. And I seem to get to the next place, wherever that might be. This Hall of Fame recognition has forced me to stop, take a breath, and look back over the past 30 years with much appreciation and gratitude. I'm thankful for the friends I've made, the lessons I've learned, and the work we've done together. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a particularly splendid group of inductees. I feel so honored to be part of this group. And, you know, I was blessed when I was a little younger to be at some of the early Hall of Fame dinners, and it was so inspiring to me. Some of my heroes in this industry, people like Harry Summers, Stan Schwartz, who I worked with, Ernie Hahn, Sherm Harmer, who's here, and many others. I feel so proud to be included in this group of heroes. If you're wondering what the kilt's all about tonight, by the way, because, you know, I am an American citizen, 50 years ago, a really good friend of mine now, somebody who took a chance on me in Edinburgh in Scotland. I was a trainee quantity surveyor, and he was my first boss, became a good friend, he was a mentor. He looked a lot like Sean Connery in his younger days, and well, he pretty much looks like Sean Connery now in his older days as well. He said to me that he was going to send me a wee something for the evening tonight. I had absolutely no idea what it was, but when it showed up, it was this beautiful dress sporran that I'm wearing. So, how could I not wear my kilt evening dress for this occasion to honor my friend Neil Thompson? By the way, sporran is Gaelic for purse, in case you wondered. I want to thank CBIF for the wonderful work it does. Terry Brunson, who kept us all on track for this event, all the staff, you do an incredible job. And that's really exemplified by Austin Diaz, who you saw featured in the video in front of the convent that we're redeveloping. Austin was a grant recipient from CBIF last year, and I'm really pleased to say that my partner Jim Reynolds and I at Silvergate are hiring him to be one of the succession planning group for our company. So he was a star student in our MSRE program at USD, and Staff Karras is here tonight, who heads up the Burnham Moores Center, and I've been so proud to be involved with that over the last 12 years, and it's such a thrill for me at my stage of life to be spending time around talented graduates who I knew and taught through the program, and now they're contributing to our industry, and they're taking leadership positions in the industry throughout California. So it's wonderfully gratifying. I've been so lucky for the last 35 years, and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with so many of my industry heroes is an amazing privilege. I was so lucky to land in California, to make my life, my family, and my friends here. I'm justifiably proud of this industry that has been so good to me. BIA of San Diego and CBIA have been like an extended family to me since I really started to get involved back in 1980. My membership and involvement over many years has been so rewarding, and I remain inspired by what we can accomplish when we work together on both the big opportunities in our industry as well as the many challenges that we continue to face here in California. I'm going to take this award as encouragement to continue to do what I've been doing for many years to come. I want to thank my partners and my employees in both the companies. I want to thank all of you for continuing to support this great organization, to my family and friends for being there this evening, and for their ability to celebrate with me, and my wife, Gail, who would love to have been here this evening, but due to an infirmity was not able to make the trip. So thanks to all of you. It's just a wonderful privilege. I can't thank you enough.
If I said I was overwhelmed, it would be an understatement. Maybe I can use these notes, because I really didn't write anything, but there's so many people to thank, and I don't want to give Tim Sullivan a few $100. So I'm going to try to be brief, but I'd like to start by thanking the two most important people in my life. They put up with missed birthdays, missed anniversaries, postponed Christmases, vacations I never showed up for, or if I showed up, I was there for a day or two. But without my wife, Pamela, and my son, Nicholas, and their tolerance for me, and their support, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, so I'd like to thank them. As the video suggested, I went to Cal Poly, and Cal Poly, I got a very good education, by the way. I think they taught me how to solve problems. And I got a general education on architecture, but my real architectural education started when I went to work. And I've had the good fortune of having very many mentors. My first mentor, and probably the person I listen to the most even today, is my partner, Aaron Bassinian. He gave me a chance, and I've spent 40 years trying to prove that he made the right decision. So thank you. But along the way, our firm has had the pleasure of working with many spectacular builders, and there's lessons I've learned, and I can't go into all of them, but as I was growing up, my sister's here, by the way, our mother used to tell me that patience was a virtue. You know, I think I was an ADD kid. I didn't believe that, but I can remember sitting across the table from Jim Peters, and we'd present the plans, and he'd be looking at it, and you could kind of see the Rubik's Cube moving behind his eyes. And you'd stare at an area, and the room would be dead silent for like, 30 minutes until you actually solved the issue. But what I learned was, the first couple lines that come out of your pen are not always good. And it takes patience to develop good design. Jeff Slavin's another one I spent a lot of time with, and with Jeff, we would sketch and draw, and there'd be a pile of flimsy in the corner of bad ideas. And Jeff knew that I'd do more overlays, and each time I did an overlay, I'd draw what we had already decided on, because I couldn't figure out this one spot. I'd be thinking about it, but I'd be drawing all this other stuff. And he finally said, stop that, because I know what you're doing. But it's all about communication. And something we've learned at BLA is to listen. And it isn't just listening to what people say, but it's really listening and understanding. And then being able to communicate what you understand graphically by drawing. It's something that our firm has done forever. And I think we're very good at it. But communication is very important to what we do and who we are. One of our relationships with Shea Holmes goes back now more than 30 years. And when we first started, there was this gentleman that kind of sit in the back. I'd say he was older, but he's probably not a whole lot older than me. It was Roy Humphreys, for those who know him. And Roy was very good about empowering people. And so as the design process was evolving, Roy would be back there before smartphones, and he'd be taking notes and dealing with messages and things. And then all of a sudden, he would make a comment that seemed like it came from left field. And what I learned from Roy was always to keep an open mind, because design is not always a linear process. And it's interesting, designers both in our firm and the designers we work with our builders, they're very passionate people, and they care about what they're doing, and that's why they're in that position. They wouldn't be if they weren't passionate. And you have to learn how to, not only with our staff, but in design meetings, to give people pride of authorship, to give them the ability to feel like their input matters, and to not step on egos. And the best person in the world on that's a guy named Howard Englander. I've learned a lot from Howard on people skills. You can make a presentation that Howard's in, and very carefully and very sensitively, he'll come up to you and say, I think you need to start over, because that's really crap. And he makes you feel good about it. But those skills are something that I've tried to take back into our organization. As I mentioned, Aram and I are both looking for our firm to live well beyond us. Jeff Lefetra and Dave Costco are taking over the daily reins right now, and we have the great pleasure of training the next level behind them, or under them, if you will, that are going to be the future leaders of Vicinian and Lagoni. So it's been a real interesting 40 years for me. I am very humbled with this award. I've sat on the other side of those bright lights for many years. I never thought I'd be up here. Never thought I'd be this nervous either, by the way, but thank you very much.
Okay, imagine a young woman with aspirations of fame and fortune who leaves her family and friends in Buffalo and moves, yay, Buffalo, Larry, across the country with $1,000 in her wallet, money earned by working 2 jobs. One is a cocktail waitress at a disco. Didn't know that about me, huh? She arrives in San Francisco, meets with an employment agency who gives her a quarter, those are those little coins that they used to make, and tells her to take the El Terravel to Sunstream Homes. She gets an accounting job there, meets the head of the real estate department, Ro Baker, who takes her under his wing and mentors her for the next 10 years. He advises her to get a real estate broker's license, invites her to every critical meeting, and tells her, get involved with the BIA. 40 years later, she stands here before you, filled with gratitude and appreciation. Recognizing that I am here today because so many of you in this room have worked with me, volunteered with me, and supported me throughout my career. Most people are lucky to have one mentor, but I had two, the other being the wonderful Dennis O'Brien. Dennis instilled in me an attitude of never settling for the status quo, to think like an entrepreneur no matter what the job description said. And he told the BIA audience a few years ago that I did the work of 4 men. So Chuck, sorry about that. In my career, I learned early the importance of paying it forward. I'm a mentor, even when my role is only that of connecting like-minded people with experienced professionals who can help them to further their ambitions. My dear friend Colleen Edwards, another person critical to my success, believes as I do in building the brand called you. So many of you have helped me to build my brand. I stay involved and serve on probably too many boards where I can be helpful, even though Colleen always reminds me that I should practice the Nancy Reagan philosophy and just say no. This year, I attended an industry event, and I saw many young women receiving awards just as excited about this industry as I was 40 years ago. I am hopeful and optimistic that more leaders in this male-dominated industry mentor and sponsor these women so they will become the next generation of home building executives. For all of my successes, I did experience discrimination and would like to see more women at higher levels of management. I am confident that it would change the playing field for the better. I knew I wanted to be successful with a career since I saw my mom and dad, they're here tonight, work very hard to provide for the 5 of us. My whole family is here tonight, and Fred and Mark from Portland, and I thank them for their support and guidance and for raising me to believe that I could accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. Thank you to my supportive husband, Bob, who is always there for me and accepts me for who I am. All of those years of volunteering, yay, Bob! All of those years of volunteering for the BIA paid off. The mutual respect that Bobby Glover and I have for each other is the key to the BIA Homemade partnership that thrives here in the Bay Area. Thank you to the Homemade Northern California Board of Directors for their support and guidance. And thank you to the California Homebuilding Foundation Board of Trustees for this great honor. I am grateful beyond words. Thank you.
Microphones and crowds, I'm really uncomfortable. Evan, Kent, Pablo, Jorge, Mitchell, we need you. Stay with us. Bring your friends, and I want to see your friends that are male, female, light, dark, from this country and other countries. We welcome you. We need you. Come. If you saw the beginning of this get-together, there was a picture of Sandy Goodkin. Sandy was my original mentor. I'm giving him love tonight. Many of us here in the research world are from him. John Martin, my friend and mentor. Johnny, I love you. I love Tommy. You're going to be my friend for my entire life. Ken Agid, Jay Moss. So many of us have been influenced by him. And I want to acknowledge him. I love him, and I'm here because of him. My fellow inductees, I feel so lucky because I'm with my friends. Dougie, I've known you. You haven't changed, asshole. You guys all have good genes, don't worry. He's 68 and he looks 30. By the way, I did time everyone, and at the end of this, I'm going to tell you what their times were because I promised anyone that was at 5 minutes or under, Drinks are on me at Lefty O'Doul's. I won't tell you who did well. Tom, I love you, buddy. You and Mike and Doug have a wonderful organization. Linda, the people in your group, I'm a fan of TriPoint. You guys are fantastic builders, and you're my friends. Kevin, you're with some of my people too. Joni Marcus Colvin, you are my family. Larry, thank you for being my friend for what seems like 30 years, even though it's only been about a half an hour. And Larry, Aaron Epperson, I originally hired. Aaron, would you please stand up just so I can identify? This is one of my people. I hired her at Sullivan Group. She's one of the future of our industry. Aaron, I love you, baby. You're my girl.
She's too good for you.
Look who's talking, asshole. Ian Gill. Ian Gill is my San Diego boy. What you don't know about Ian is he's an incredible developer of mixed-use environments, and he and I both get to work together in San Diego. I think the world of him. Carl Lagoni. Carl, you said it about your people, but I'm going to call out some of my friends that are at your place. Your partner, Aram, who I've known for as many years as I've known you. Heather, I love you. Jeff, Mark, you guys are a remarkable organization. I learn when I'm with you. Thank you for doing what you do. And Cheryl. Cheryl, I don't know if you remember when we met, but we worked together at 3 different organizations, but the thing that I remember the most is when the market sucked and the world was ending, we would talk to each other and say, we can make it one more day. We can make it one more day. Cheryl O'Connor is one of the people in our industry I wish we could clone. If we had more of her, we'd have less trouble. Cheryl O'Connor. And I've heard that our life is a mixture of our experiences, and I am here because of you guys. There are so many people in this audience that I hug and kiss every time I see, and it comes from the heart. It's because I feel so fortunate to be here. My brother's here, and my brother represents my family. My brother is the greatest man I've ever met. My father taught us how to do things and taught us how not to do things. My brother perfected it. He brought me up. He is one of my 2 brothers, one not so good, this one pretty good. I love you, Joe. And I'll end with this. I have 2 tables of people that I work with. They're not my coworkers, they're my family. We hug, we talk, we laugh, we share family stories. And I didn't start my timer, so I don't know if I qualify for the 5 minutes. But now I'm going to give you the times of my friends. Doug Bauer, asshole. Stop looking so good, I'm just going to say. And Tom and Mike, I mean, what the hell? Is it something that you guys drink? Linda, what the hell are you guys doing? You look younger now. But you went 5:21, Doug. Kevin Carson, you went 2.5 days. Ian Gill wins the Highlander Award. 4 minutes, 9 seconds. Carl Lagoni, well, Carl, we basically timed you with a calendar. And like I said, if there were more of Cheryl's, there'd be less time and you guys could drink more. 4 minutes, 9 seconds, Cheryl. I leave you with this. Larry, you're not the only one that has said this, but you've said it many times. We are in a noble industry because we create places that we live. We create places for experiences, for our young people, for our families. This whole thing is about experience. And my experience in this industry has been unbelievable. I thank you for this honor. I will wear this with pride, and I will try to carry on the whole Hall of Fame process. And if you let me have the microphone again, you will regret it.
After all that applause, the only way I can compete is by saying it's been a wonderful evening and good night. I'll see you all next year in San Diego. Catch you all then. Be good. Good night.